Hello and welcome to Front Row Racing's World Series. It's Thursday night, which means it is time for the World Series Round 10 at the Hungaroring in Hungary. Now, it does go by a different name nowadays, but I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce that one. It's difficult enough to do at the best of times, but even more difficult when you're not feeling too great. So if you hear me coughing and spluttering this afternoon or this evening, I do apologise, folks. Anyway, I'm Front Row Racing DP. I'll be doing the commentary this evening. I'm also otherwise known as Dave Lazy in Beds, and joining me in the commentary box is From Row Racing RI, as we like to call him, and surprisingly as he likes to be called, Ray Cho Brooks. I hope you're well this evening, Ray.
Yep, I'm very well. Sorry to hear you're feeling a wee bit down. Maybe I could perk you up with a wee few pumps my bike pump.
Quite possibly, but be careful with that one. No, I mean, to be honest, I've not been feeling too well since last Friday. Got really, really bad over the weekend. And sort of today's probably the first day where I felt a little bit more normal. Obviously, last night's World Championship result has helped towards that one. Okay, on to the World Series.
You have to get that in.
Oh, of course. Well, I mention it because, I mean, quite often we see that in the World Series, sometimes drivers will copy what they've seen people do in the World Championship the night before. And it'll be very interesting to see if anybody goes down that route this evening. Anyway, quick run through of the drivers in the killer Acorn Mercedes. We've got Acorn 95 and Dave the Harp. For Underdog Red Bull Racing, we've got Ant 69. We're waiting on Adam 4600 to join us. For Victoria's Secret, I nearly forgot their name then. Victoria's Secret Williams Racing, we have Hybrid Nuke and Hindle. And then Midlands Madness Ferrari, we've got Front Row Racing GP and Kay Slay. For McCharles McLaren Honda, we've got Charlie and Rickster. In the Sauber team, Godolph, Richie Davey, Andy Russell may not be able to make it this evening. And a reserve was requested, but unfortunately too late. The drivers do have to let us know the day before. And then in the Mana Marussia, although it's the night for Mana Marussia, we've got Front Row Racing NW back with us. He joined yourself and Steve on commentary last night. He's back on the racetrack this evening, but we are also waiting for Farfbert to join us. Although, given the nature of this particular racetrack, I wouldn't be surprised if a couple of drivers are not too keen on it. Okay, quick recap on last week's race result, Ray, while you keep an eye on the time for us. Silverstone result, a couple of positions did change. 3 drivers receiving penalties, but it went like this. Hybrid Nuke took the victory with It's Hammer Time in as a reserve driver, finishing second place for Nightfarth Mana Marussia. Hindle finished third, with K-Slate in fourth. Rickster in fifth. Acorn 95 ended up down in sixth. Adam 4600 in seventh. Dave the Harp in eighth. And Ant 69 in ninth. With Charlie, Farfbert, Andy Russell, Richard Davey and Front Row Racing GP all did not finish. It's Hammer Time picked up driver of the day for that event, going from the back of the grid to second place, and had a chance of fighting for the win had the rain not come late on in the session. Team of the day went to Victoria's Secret Williams Racing, another fine display by that team. Plenty more points in the bag and looking like runaway leaders in the constructors' standings. Now, if we actually, I would say show you, but I'll talk about it, the current constructors' standings, or even the drivers' standings, it looks like we may be on for a 2-horse battle between the Victoria's Secret Williams Racing guys at the top of the championship. Hybrid Nuke's on 162 points with Hindle on 156. Front Row Racing GP's on 98 with Dave the Harp on 69. Excuse me. Difficult to talk a lot when you've got a bit of a chesty cough. David Harp's got 69 points, Rickster on 52, Acorn on 51, K-Slay on 50, Richie Davey on 42, Adam 4600 on 29, Andy Russell on 18, Ant 69 on 17, Charlie JB on 13, Farfborough on 3 and Front Row Racing NW on 9. Okay, Ray, are we at about half past now?
Yeah, just making sure. I know GP went to reset his PS4. Just making sure nobody else has went out and came back in.
No, everybody appears to be in other than Farfba and Andy Russell. So Adam 4600 has managed to join us. So we will send the drivers over to the racetrack then, which will open up the paddock, let them open their garage doors and make their way out onto the circuit. We've got a short qualifying session of 50% race distance, damage is on full, dynamic weather is on, car performance is equal, so it's all down to the drivers and their setups. While we wait to get over to the circuit, I will quickly go through the constructors' standings at the moment. Victoria's Secret Williams Racing are on 318 points, and there's a huge gap to second place. Killer Acorn Mercedes on 175. Midlands Madness Ferrari are on 156, with McCharles McLaren Honda on 85. Godolphin Sauber on 60, Underdog Racing Red Bull on 46, and Nightfarth Mana Marussia on 39. Okay, the drivers are ready then. We'll head over to the circuit for what could be either an absolutely fantastic race or absolute carnage, because this circuit is not an easy one. It is now time, though, for the Front Row Racing World Series Round 10 in Hungary for Season 6, and I believe we could have a battle up at the front between the Victoria's Secret Williams Racing drivers, and there's a few reasons for that. Some of their close contenders may not quite be on the pace today, and I think the explanations for some of those could be very, very interesting. We've got beautiful, beautiful sunny weather here at the moment for the drivers, so that will have comforted a lot of them for the battle up at the front. Casely is a driver that's come in, shown he's got some speed, shown he's got some talents. But Ray, what did he have to say when we met up with him earlier on for a quick chat in the paddock?
Sorry, Casely, first race, he's on the wheel.
Yeah, he's on a wheel.
With not much practice, just want to finish clean in a respectable position.
So,
Any
Casely...
position is respectable as long as it's clean.
Exactly, that is a very good point. Now, Farfba has joined us, talk about bad timing. Just as we're going through to the qualifying session, it means he's not going to be able to take part in qualifying. And we've got Hindle heading out onto track. And Hindle, he's now second place in the standings. And I don't think he was overly happy about ending up in second place, really. Because I think he feels that really he should be running away with his championship. But when we caught up with him earlier on, he said, when I focused on qualifying in the first few races, I dominated. So I'm looking to do that here. Race pace looks good, especially on the primes. Looking to get first place back in the standings, so time to step it up a gear. So fighting talk from Hindle. So he's putting it out there. He's going for it. He's going for the win. He wants the points. He wants to be the leader. But what's interesting, Ray, is what his teammate had to say.
You bugger.
Sorry, I've stitched you with that one. Send us a sentence with your pre-race comments, drivers. Okay, over to Hybrid Nuke's comments.
So here is Hungary. My favourite track. Something about it just speaks to me. I think he needs to go and see psychiatric help.
Yep, possibly, yeah. If the track is talking to him, yep.
There are secrets to this track. Oh, well, let us know. This, if you remember, is a track I did an FRR. He's done his first FRR ID's Cup race. Same as me, I done my first league race on here at this track. I feel good around here, rain or dry, I feel comfortable. Handle's looking very quick, but I feel with a little pressure I might open a crack. I don't want to know about that.
No, we'll avoid that one.
It's all out, expecting to see a lot more fighting.
Yeah, so Hybrid Nuke's not making it easy for us commentators. It definitely doesn't really grasp what just the one sentence is. But his teammates put out a bit of fighting talk and he's come back with some of his own. Now, whether they know about each other's comments or not, we don't know. But what we do have is Hindle out on the track on option tyres and Hybrid Nuke on primes. Okay, so we'll go and see where Hindle is, because as I mentioned, he is out on track. He's done a 28.2 Sector 1, which is pretty good, a 29.2 Sector 2, which is also pretty good, and if he can get a Sector 3 of a sort of 23.3, he could be looking at about a 20.7, a 20.8 for this lap. There we go, it's a 20.8 with a 23.4, but I think he'll feel that he can go faster in Sector 1 and Sector 2. Now, something for the viewers to bear in mind is that this particular racetrack, sorry, not this particular racetrack, this particular racing league, the World Series, the drivers are allowed to use assists. So it can have a massive effect on capability of lap time. Excuse me, I do apologise for the coughing. I'll pop some cough syrup in a moment. Yeah, so they have the option of being able to use ABS, traction control, and it can help them get much, much better lap times. They don't have to use them, but the options are there for the drivers. Rickster, he's done a 28.4 and a 29.7 Sector 1 and 2. Won't be overly pleased with those when he looks at the timing screen, but he is in third place at the moment. Maybe actually be going on for another flying lap, so we'll stay on board with him through the first sector. Excuse me. Now, as for potential qualifying lap time, I do think sort of mid-20s to 26, 27 could be possible, but around this circuit with the new strict FIA ruling, the drivers need to sort of get out there, get a banker lap in, get a time on the board that's fairly respectable, and then go for it. Because if they spend the whole session going for it, they could quite easily end up with no time on the board, with all of their laps invalidated. Rickster's pushing and pushing at the moment. He's done a 28.3 Sector 1. Couple of corners to go for Sector 2. But is anybody else lighting up the timing board, Ray?
I'm just watching Hybrid Nuke, 28.3 first sector, 30.5 second sector. Just coming over the line, and he's went fourth on his primes.
Okay, so he's fourth on the primes. Rickster's done a 29.9 Sector 2, and he is pitting because he was up on his own Sector 1, but he was down on his own Sector 2. From Row Racing GP, he's on a flying lap. He's also on the prime tyre at the moment. A 28.4 Sector 1 and a 30.4 Sector 2. So just about matching Hybrid Nuke's prime tyre time at the moment. It all depends on what this final sector. Currently sitting in 8th place, crosses the line at 22.9, goes 4th, so may have just bumped Hybrid Nuke down a position. Now, he did. Okay, now from a Racing GP, over the last few weeks he's given us some quite interesting pre-race comments. So what did GP have to say?
Do I have GPs? Yeah. What day is it? Well, he must know what day it is if he's out on track.
Well, it was actually two-part. It's what day is it? It's World Series is tomorrow, isn't it? I think he was joking with us on that one. Okay, Ant69, he's out on track on the option tyres, and first sector of a 28.8. Now, when I caught up with Ant earlier today, having a little bit of a chat with him, asking what he was expecting for this evening, he said, well, you know what, I hate the track. It's Liverpool v United tonight, so I hope it's a quick race. Now, I don't think he'll go crashing on purpose, but it's a track he doesn't like. He may not be in this race particularly long, but for the benefit of anybody watching, I'm also, well, he's a Liverpool fan. I'm a Man United fan. I haven't been able to watch a Man United game on a Wednesday or Thursday for about 3 years, which hasn't been too bad, because for the last couple of years they've not really been in the Champions League. But yeah, I've not really been able to watch a United game on a Wednesday or Thursday for the last couple of years, so yeah, no complaining, drivers. Okay, on to Front Row Racing NW. rejoins us on the racetrack, and it's fantastic to see him do so. And when I caught up with Adam earlier on, he had some very interesting comments, and I must admit, I think this is a beautiful, beautiful statement. Quite simply put, I hate the track. It should be demolished. I would say I'm trying to get my first points of the season tonight after a few bad months personally, which would be a welcome touch. If I get lapped less than twice, I'm sure I'd count that as a good result. Excuse me, I'm going for high aero on the front, low aero at the rear, as I like a loose rear end. Enter joke accordingly. Yeah, well, he did actually put enter joke accordingly, but you know what, I'll refrain from doing so. But for Adam, I just hope that he comes to the circuit and enjoys himself racing. And also, I think Adam and Ant 69, they could be very, very similar on pace, so they could have their own little battle going on. Now, Nightwalker's first sector times are 29.2, which actually isn't too bad considering a very limited amount of practice time. Sector 2 is where he's going to struggle a lot because you do need a lot of good rhythm through there, and that shows with a 32.5, and it looks like he's actually backing out, perhaps trying to warm up his tyres. With 9 minutes to go, he has got time to go for another lap and get back in the pits. But he's going for the pits now. Okay. Excuse me. Go on, what have you spotted for us, Ray?
And I was just surprised he was going into the pits.
So was I. Acorn 95, just about to cross the finishing line to complete a lap. And it's put on 4th place with 122.7. Sounds like he might be out of fuel, and he might be out of something else a little later, considering that when I asked him about his pre-race comments, this one caught me by surprise. He said, my dad might have to take over for the last 5 laps of the race. Make of that what you will. Make of that what you will.
I hope he knows how to do the double tap record.
That is a good point. That is a good point. Okay. Dave the Harp, he looks like he's on an out lap. He's on the option tyres. I tell you what though, with under 8 minutes to go, I don't think Casely has actually been out on track yet. He may be choosing to not qualify, which would be an interesting one, but one I could perhaps understand with it being the first race on the wheel. For Dave the Harp though, as he now starts his flying lap, when I spoke to him earlier on, he said it's
something coming out the pit.
Oh, it's alright, they're nicely out of the way. Good to see that, a driver coming out of the pits where someone's on a flying lap, just hit the brakes, slow down, let the guy go. So before we get to Dave's first sector time, when I spoke to him earlier on, he said it's a tough one to call, depends on how the drivers behave. Clean, I hope, and you know what, I'd agree with him on that one. So what's his first sector time going to be? So 28.4, not too shabby. I do know in the practice sessions Dave was showing a little bit of pace around this track, so I think he may be a little quietly confident of a possibility of a podium here. Sector 2, so much time can be gained and lost through these corners just by attacking the wrong ones, taking too much speed through some corners, compromising through others. End of sector 2 coming now. It's a 29.5. That's not too shabby. This could put him up there sort of 3rd place. Let's see what his final sector time is. Oh, it looks like he's backed out of it actually. Either that was just taking it very cautiously. No, he's going for the pit lane. He's actually already sat in 2nd place, so perhaps he was just down on his previous best time. He was. He'd done a 29.2 and a 29.3, so he was down in both sectors. Casely still not out on track. Charlie, he's now out on track. Richie Davey, he's on an out lap. Now, I did ask him for pre-race comments, and yep, he didn't want to talk to us today. Either that or the message has come through a little bit too late. Excuse me. 28.6, sector 1 for him. Could do with finding a few tenths through there. All run a little bit wide. Got to be patient to get on the power now. Sector 2, as I mentioned, can cost you so much. Rickster, his session is over. Not sure what position he is in at the moment. 30.7 for his 3rd, is he? So Rickster's put himself in 3rd place at the moment. Might lose a few positions in the last 5 minutes. Richie Davey though, 30.7 sector 2, not the greatest of sector times. Into the final corner now. Many different lines you can use around here, but he's had to get off the power. Not really what you want to be doing, and it's 8th place with a 123.4, but he probably could go on for another lap, but I've got a feeling he might not. And there you go, he hasn't. Okay, Rickster, we've missed his lap. We've not seen him actually put it in, but what did Rickster have to say when we caught up with him a little earlier on, Ray?
You've got to give me a bit of warning to get into my phone. Rickster, where are you, Rickster?
Adam thought...
Did he comment?
Yes, he did, I think, actually.
No, I don't know.
No. If he did, I missed it. Sorry. Yeah. Rickster has not said anything to us this week. Perhaps concentrating so much. I know his teammate did, though. What did Charlie have to say?
Oh, shit. I just put my phone down.
Would you like me to take over for that one? When we spoke
please.
to... Go on. Well,
I said yes, please.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, when we caught up with Charlie earlier today, it can be quite funny on occasion. And I know that this track can be quite a difficult one. It really can. Adam 4600, he's in 7th place at the moment. Yeah. So when we asked him, what are you thinking about this race? He said, quite simply, can we skip to Spa? To which the answer is no, but that kind of sums up a lot of people's feelings about this particular racetrack. Now, Dave the Harp, he's back out on track on a fly-in lap. Hindle, I think, is still... No, he's out. I think this might be an out lap. It is, because there's no time ticking. So, Hindle, Dave the Harp are both back out on track. Excuse me. Hybrid Nuke is also out on track now on an out lap. So it's going to get busy in the last few moments. And 69's back in the pits from a race in NW. He's back out on track now on the option tyre. K-Slay just starting his first flying lap in a competitive session on the wheel. So let's see how he gets on. He's not going to be expecting to be up there on his usual sort of pace. So sector 1 time of sort of 28.2 to match or beat. Is he going to be able to do it? Or has he sneakily gone, you know, I'm going to put the pad back on? A 28.2 sector 1, that's looking fairly good. See how he gets on through sector 2. I tell you what, if he goes and pops it up somewhere near the front row of the grid, he'll
kick Rickster.
Yeah, he could knock Rickster down. Yeah, but if he goes and sticks it on the front, or not front row of the grid, but somewhere up at the front, he might surprise himself and a few other people. See how he gets on through sector 2. Nicely aggressive through there. So 29.9 sector 2, that's a little bit off the pace. He's running wide now at turn 12. That could be lap over, although the time's still ticking. We'll see what he gets at the end of it. Excuse me. I mean, he's definitely having to go through that phase of working out what the wheel will do. So you reckon he's going to go 5th, do you? You were right. You were right. Absolutely bang on with 5th place. Now, Hybrid Nuke, he's on a flying lap. Ray, if you can have a look at where Hindle is, because Hybrid Nuke has just gone and set a 28.0 sector 1. I think his teammate is just ahead of him on track.
28.1.
So, Hybrid Nuke up on his teammate in sector 1, but he's backed out of it. He's backed out of it. I think that's an invalidated lap, you know. So let's go and ride on board with his teammate. 28.1 sector 1, minute and 14 to go of the session. 29.4 sector 2, he won't be pleased about that one. He knows he can go a lot quicker, but if he can get a sector 3 of a 23.3 or lower, he could be up on the lap time. So 1 corner to go, a little bit twitchy, rear end wants to step out, but you just have to plant that throttle. It's a 21.0, it's still first place. Now Hybrid...
We've got Hybrid Nuke's got the fastest first sector, Handle's got the fastest second sector, and Rickster's got the fastest third sector.
So 3 different drivers with 3 different fastest sectors, possibly suggesting very different setups. Hybrid Nuke now, I don't know if you want to have a look, Ray, if Hindle is going on for another lap, but we'll follow Hybrid Nuke, see if he can improve on his previous best sector 1, but he wasn't able to complete the lap. So through turn 3, down the hill, up towards the corner I like to call, well, I call the Massa corner. It's where he went straight on. It's a 28.2 sector 1 for Hybrid.
28.1 for Hindle.
So it looks like Hindle may be on for potentially another good lap. We've now been kicked into TV cam mode, so we won't get sector times, but we'll be able to see if Hindle stays in first place or not. Who else have we got out there on track at the moment, Ray, that should be able to complete a lap? If you could have a flick through for us. There's Hindle. Okay. So Hindle round the final corner then, may be able to improve his lap time. Across the line he goes, and it still is first place for the moment. It'd be all about whether Hybrid Nuke can improve on his own position. He's completing the lap, so that would suggest it's been a fairly clean one. Heading up to the finish line now, and he said he was still in 4th place. For a race
on the primes.
Oh, okay, so from a racing GP, currently sat in 7th place. Are you sure they're prime tyres? They almost look a little bit... Oh no, you're right, they are prime tyres. So perhaps he's choosing to do something a little bit different here in Hungary. I mean, we actually didn't have a look at what the weather was doing, but from a racing GP, it almost looks like he's actually backed out of this particular lap. He has. That's his session over. That's qualifying over.
Fantastic performance today, and one that I think he and the whole team can be very proud of.
Okay, so Hindle then did take pole position by half a second over Dave the Harp in second, Rickster in third, Hybrid Nuke in fourth, Casely in fifth, Acorn in 6th, from a Racing GP in 7th, Adam 4600 in 8th, Richard Avey in 9th, Ant 69 in 10th, from a Racing NW in 11th, Charlie in 12th, and Farfba should be able to start from the back of the grid. Now I'm quickly going to have to go and take a momentary break, so feel free to waffle on for a moment, Ray.
It's Hammer Time 44. He's gone on to a wheel, by the looks of it.
Welcome to the Hungaro ring here in Hungary.
There's information on F1 2016 by another one, but I'll leave that till later.
Okay, I'm back with us, so I've no idea what you may have been talking about there then, Ray, other than something at the end about F1 2016. I don't think we'll hear too much information about F1 2016, because I know Codemasters in the past have not been huge fans of releasing too much information. But
do you think they'll go to the same qualified?
I think they possibly will, although they may have to change it. Okay, we've got 20 seconds, and I tell you what, Ray, those skies are looking very, very gloomy. And we actually, or at least I didn't, have a look at what the weather conditions were while we were in the pit lane. But this is looking gloomy enough to possibly rain.
I would do my rain dance, so hopefully.
Well, hopefully it won't rain too much. Okay, we're on 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. It's time to go racing. Away they go then, heading down into turn 1. And hopefully they'll all get through there nice and clean. We'll head off down to that part of the track. Oh, we've got a Red Bull lagging all over the place. I think that's Adam 4600. I could be wrong. Oh, we've got collision on the exit of turn 2. We've got a Mercedes.
Rickster.
It is.
And Acorn.
Yeah, Adam 4600. He has got awful lag at the moment. So for any of the drivers have got engineers, just give them a word of caution to try and avoid Adam 4600 as best as possible. Up at the front we've got Williams, Mercedes, Williams by the looks of it. So that'll be Hindle, Dave the Harp, Hybrid Nuke, and Hybrid Nuke will want to get past Dave the Harp as quickly as possible.
Paul's behind up to 7th. Richard Davey and Adam 4600 are getting quite close together. We touch in the chicane. We've got Paul falling behind them. And Paul's he's getting it powered down. He's like, I'm not waiting around, but it looks dead as if it's going to rain.
It does look like it could rain. It's been one hell of a start of the race, though. I mean, like I say, Paul has gone from the back of the grid up to 7th place. He could have a slightly huge benefit of perhaps not being able to use his own setup, in that he'll be running 6.6 aeros at the moment. It'll help him in the fast parts of the circuit. Oh, Richie Davey! There's a spin. He doesn't want to end up in the pit lane there. But Case Lay has gone for the pit lane. From a Racing NW has continued on. I'm not sure if that was collision with Adam 4600 there, but Hybrid Nuke, he's now got himself up to 2nd place. I was about to go and have a look at that as I saw Richie ending up sliding and facing the wrong direction. Ray, do you want to have a look at Caseley in the pit lane, see if he's repairing any possible damage? That could be why he was
left.
Okay.
He just left.
Well, that could be why he perhaps had to make that early pit stop. Okay, so we've got Hindle, Hybrid Nuke, Dave the Harp. Then we've got Charlie. Charlie's riding up in 4th place.
Who was that? Ant 69?
Yep.
That was a bad crash.
Looks like that was a big one up at turn 4. Did you happen to see what happened there, Ray?
I just think, I can't remember who was it. Ant was in the back. Oh, Acorns just smacked his car into the wall.
Okay, so Acorn's race is over then, and Ant69 may have to pit for repairs as Rickster going for a move on from a Racing GP. From a Racing GP did say yesterday he's not a big fan of that particular corner, and being on the prime tyres, he's kind of let Rickster through there. Okay, up at the front, what have we got? Hindle. Hybrid Nuke trying to open up a little bit of a gap, but they have said they're going to be attacking each other. They feel they've got enough of a gap in both standings to just absolutely go for it. And for the spectators,
Paul's gone for a move in to turn 1 over Adam 4600. He's left them plenty of space. Adam's still ahead. Paul,
he's going to go for the switchback, is he? Oh, he's tried it. He tried it. It's still on, though. Although going around the outside through turn 3, not an easy one to do. But he'll have a faster run up to turn 4. But turn 4's not really a place where you want to overtake. Nicely done. Oh, but he's ran a little bit wide now, and 4600 comes sneaking back through. And that's one of the reasons why in the Stewards Guide that corner's given us a lenient exit. He has, but yeah, it's given us a lenient exit to try and help aid any potential chances of overtaking around that corner. But that has allowed the Ferrari from a Racing GP and Rickster in the McLaren to try and close up that gap a little bit. Okay, behind those we've got Richie Davey, 9th place. From a Racing NW in 10th. Case Slate down in 11th. He's on a set of option tyres. Ant 69 on option tyres in 12th, and I think he has made a pit stop for repairs.
A bit of contact. I don't know if that was a wee bit of lag, and now he's put Rickster. He had a wee touch of Rickster had to go wide.
I mean, it was very odd on the first lap of the race how Adam 4600 seemed to be out in front and with a lot of lag. I don't know whether he's had a massive jump start, but here goes Rickster, DRS open, up the inside of Farfper. So side-by-side round turn 1, Rickster will have another shot of DRS, and from a Racing GP trying to close up. He's on the prime tyres and he's closing up, but Paul's going to try the inside now. Rickster giving him the room. And this battle could continue. Paul's tried an overtake up into turn 4 already. Hasn't quite worked. Might try it again, but also might think better of it. No, he is having a look, but does think better of it. But now he's got to be aware of the car behind him. I mean, this is an interesting situation. These guys are on option tyres. The car behind them's on prime tyres, and he's reeling them in. And if it does rain, for these option-clad drivers, they're going to hope that it rains before they have to pit. For the prime-clad drivers, they're going to hope that it starts raining after everybody else has made their pit stops. But this is a cracking battle going on here. But I'm just going to have a quick look up at the front. Hybrid Nuke is close to Hindle, but I don't think he's close enough to try and attack into turn 1. He'll be close enough for DRS. Hindle going defensive. Hybrid Nuke going for the slipstream, and we may have a bit of a battle going on for 2nd and 3rd. No, Charlie not quite close enough, but is closing that gap now.
Paul so close to that wall, sorry to butt in there. Paul was so close to that wall, keeping it tight. He's got the run, and I think he's got the overtake. Yeah.
He has. as I said, running it'll be 6.6 aeros on his car. His car will be fast in a straight line compared to anybody running higher aeros, but it will punish the tyres more, and it could suffer more through Sector 2. And I tell you what, Richie Davey, he's now closing up on the back of this battle, and these guys are beginning to catch up to Adam 4600. Oh, Paul's ran a little bit wide. Rickster up the inside and manages to sneak through. Excuse me, I really do apologise for my coughing. But this is an interesting situation for the likes of, say, Front Row Racing GP. Oh, Paul's going for a move into the Mickey Mouse. Thankfully, decides better. That's a chicane where you can overtake, but it really, really takes some cojones and a lot of respect from the driver that you're going to try going up the inside of there. Hybrid Nuke on this occasion is much, much closer to Hindle. We may have an attack and a possible change for the lead. Now, if Hindle goes defensive again, Hybrid Nuke really needs to follow him straight away. Oh, Hindle, you've got to be careful of how much you move. He has gone back to the racing line, but you do have to be careful when you're going from one side of the track to the other. Now, second shot of DRS. Is it going to be enough for an attack? Is close, may get up alongside. They are side by side then into turn 2. And Hindle just manages to keep ahead, but Hybrid Nuke's now going to have the better run through 3. Could catch up towards 4, but really, as mentioned, you don't really want to go for it into 4, and they don't. Charlie, he's got ahead of Dave behind them. So Charlie is now up to 3rd place as they go through turn 4. Okay, what have you got your...
Paul again. Paul's going round the outside. No, you don't want to do that.
He's managed to make it work though. What a move. Now that's what I'm on about. Oh, and here comes GP, but that's what I'm on about, where you need cojones and respect from the other driver. That's what makes for fantastic racing and for fantastic overtakes. As they used to say in the olden days, it takes 2 to tango. It takes 2 to make for brilliant overtakes. Okay, so this is again going to become a 4, maybe 5 car battle. Up at the front though, we may have more changes going on. Hybrid Nuke's into the pits, lap 6, that's early. I know I pitted lap 7 yesterday, but this is really, really early. Hybrid Nuke into the pits. Charlie, 3rd place, it's about to become 2nd place with Dave the Harp. It will have DRS, but perhaps not close enough to attack. Hybrid Nuke, what tyres has he gone to? It's the prime tyres by the looks of it, and I tell you what, he's going to come out sort of right on the end of this battle going on, so any possible chance of an undercut may go right out the window for him because he's got a lot of traffic ahead of him now. How Adam 4600 is running in 4th place at the moment, I don't mean to be disrespectful, but I have no idea. He's not quite become a truly trained yet, but Farfba, he's still on a charge. He's now pulling away from Rickster, who's still got Front Row Racing GP behind him, who's now got Hybrid Nuke behind him on a brand new set of the Prime tyres. Okay.
Yeah, I'm keeping an eye on GP and seeing if his tyres... that phase where the options are going off and the primes are still going, so I think he's getting to that phase and where he can attack. And as Paul's side by side with Adam, no, I think he's backed out of it there.
Oh, he's going to go for it now though. Adams ran a little bit wide. Farfba makes the move and needed to really. Now he needs to try and get ahead if he can and really open up that gap, because this is becoming one hell of a bit of a battle here. For Front Row Racing GP and Hybrid Nuke, they need all of the cars ahead of them to pit.
Pitting.
Yeah, Rickster's pitting. You keep an eye on him, Raid. See what tyres he goes for. I'm surprised that Adam 4600 perhaps didn't pit there.
Richie's in the pits as well.
So Richie David, he's pitting again. Oh, Front Row Racing GP going for the overtake. Oh, car coming out of the pits. That's Hindle. Oh, this is getting very, very busy into turn 1. Oh, and now contact. Hybrid Nuke and Front Row Racing GP. Oh, come on, guys, you've got to be keeping it cleaner than that. People might be wanting to win races and win championships, but you've whoever was at fault there has just kind of ruined that one for everybody there. And Front Row Racing GP's now got no front wing, and he's found that out now. Okay, Hindle, he's pitted. and is now in 5th place. Sometimes I do wonder whether the drivers just think, okay, there's a car there, I'm going to overtake, or whether they think, you know what, let's just take my time. Now Hindle's just given Adam 4600 a little bit of a nudge. At the end of the day, this is a racetrack where, yes, it's difficult to overtake, but you've got to be clever about how you do your overtaking.
Charlie and Dave the Harp having a good wee battle up at the front. Oh no, contact is...
As soon as you say it, a little bit of contact, but you are going to get a little bit of contact in racing, and even with the collision that we saw at turn 1, sometimes
Charlie's in the pits.
He is, and Dave continues on. Sometimes cars will come together in such a way that the only thing that is going to happen will be that both cars spin. Farfba, he's also into the pits now. Now, from Racing NW, he's in 8th place with one Ferrari just ahead of him with damage, one Ferrari just behind him looking to try and get past. Now, the only upside for From Racing GP here is that he's now got his prime run out of the way as K-Slate sneaks around the outside of From Racing NW. Rickster, after making his stop, he's now running on the prime tyre, and we can see Richie Davey in the background.
Adam's struggling with the exit of turn 1. He's been on the grass twice. His tyres must be giving up.
Okay, so from a Racing GP, it is a change of tyres to the options, a change of front wing as well. And 69 coming around the final corner. Dave the Harp, he's leading the race at the moment, and I would expect to see him pitting in the next lap. Hindle, he's 12.5 seconds behind, but we've got Adam 4600 and Hybrid Nuke battling it out at the moment in 3rd and 4th place. So Adam's gone quite long on his set of tyres as well. So I think we may see him pitting fairly soon.
Yeah, he's just holding up Hybrid Nuke here.
Dave the Harp is into the pits. Hybrid Nuke has now got ahead of Adam 4600. Will Adam 4600 be diving for the pit lane? I think he will need to. But Charlie in the moment is in a very good position.
Dave the Harps went back to options.
So will Charlie be ahead of Dave the Harp? I would expect he will be once they... have completed their stops. Yep. Yes. Dave the Harp just coming out of the pit lane now, so Charlie getting the undercut. Now if any of the drivers have... Okay, so if any of the drivers, and K-Slate is as well, if any of the drivers have been told by their race engineers that rain is on its way, doing the option is not really that bad of an idea. Okay, so Hindle is now leading this race again. He's on the prime tyre. Hybrid Nuke is in 2nd place, 4 seconds behind him. I told him coming out in all that traffic was not going to help him, but he didn't. Charlie, though, he's putting a claim in at the moment. Oh, perhaps a claim for... a chiropractor's appointment after the way his car just jumped over that curb there. But he's kind of putting his name in the hat for number 1 driver in McLaren at the moment. Rickster might not like me saying that, but he is running 3rd place, only 6 seconds behind the leaders. But what we, the viewers and the drivers, are all going to have to be aware of is that with the new FIA strict ruling, any one of these drivers at any point could receive penalties or a disqualification if they are running off track too much. Now, where is Farfba? Sorry, go on. What have you got for us, Ray?
Yeah, I was just watching 8th Front Row Racing Nightwalker and Adam, they're having a wee battle. Oh no! That was a wee... Oh no! Respect, Adam. Respect.
So I'm guessing there that Adam's punted the other Adam a little bit towards the barrier, and he's done the one thing that can help you avoid a penalty. That is, you back off, you let the guy retake the position, you avoid getting yourself a penalty, and it just simply shows respect to everyone. He can now make the overtake correctly and continue on. Farfba, he's up to 5th place, 16 seconds off the lead. I think he's running the option tyres again. Yes, he is. Excuse me. So going from the back of the grid up to 5th place at the moment, it's working for him. He'll be quite pleased with how his race is going so far. Rickster behind him, not quite close enough to catch up. Richie Davey in 7th place on the prime tyre. I reckon we'll see him return to the options a little later on. From a Racing GP down in 11th with his teammate just ahead of him in 10th, and these guys are catching up to From a Racing NW in 9th place, so 2 Ferraris may be passing one of the Marussias fairly soon. Okay, I know in the World Championship excuse me, commentary yesterday, Steve decided to come up with something a little bit new, a question of the day. And you know what? All day today I was thinking, I reckon we should do the same thing. Problem was, I forgot one very important part of that idea. What the bloody hell is the question going to be? Yeah, so I'm gonna think for a few moments. I'll have a think about what the question can be, and I'll put a question out there to the viewers, just to see what their thoughts on it are. But at the moment, Hindle leading this race, lap 12. Let's see what the gap is. It's still 4 seconds to his teammate Hybrid Nuke. Both running the prime tyre. Hybrid Nuke pitted earlier though. I've got a feeling we'll see him pit early again, trying to get an undercut and reel that time in. Charlie, he's still only 7 seconds off the lead, which puts him only 3 seconds behind Hybrid, and he can see him. Dave the Harp, he can see Charlie. Farfber can't quite see the both of them, but he'll be pushing hard to try and change that. Rickster's still there, but he's got Richie Davey beginning to close up that gap on him. Both drivers running the prime tyres, whereas Farfber ahead of them, I believe, is running the options. And Richie not quite close enough for any kind of overtake yet. Adam 4600 in 8th, K-Slay in 9th, and From a Racing GP in 10th. So both Ferraris have got past the 9th half man at Marussia.
Yeah, sorry, Nate Walker pitted.
Alright, okay, so Nightwalker has pitted, gone to the option tyres then, but we do know that his strategy for this race is different, it's very different, or his plan, his goal for this race is very different to everybody else. But Ant69 not that far behind, although his tyres looking a little bit unhealthy at the moment. Okay, Richie Davey trying to close up onto the McLaren of Rickster. Here you go. Here's the question, folks. The question of the day. If you could change anything with real F1 cars, as in you could do anything to them, just the one thing, to make them different, to make them differ from what we've had for the last 10 years, what would that be? What one change would you make to the car? Now, I don't mean like closed cockpit or anything like that. Something a bit out of the box. For me, what I would love is, excuse me, is you take a car that the likes of Jim Clark used to drive, or Graham Hill used to drive, the really old Formula 1 cars. If you play Project Cars, you know the type I'm on about. No front wing, no rear wing, weird looking tyres admittedly, but kind of torpedo-shaped cars that I personally think...
Sorry, but in GP in case I have changed position, sorry.
That's alright, so GP now ahead. Yeah, those sort of torpedo-style cars. I'd love to see the modern designers be told, right, I want you to make a modern one of them. No front wing, no rear wing, big fat tyres. See what you can come up with. Because I think they would be beautiful to look at, and they could have so much aerodynamic floor effect, grip in the tyres, suspension. It'd be phenomenal, and you could make them safe. But for the viewers, let us know what you think. Now, From a Racing GP, he's all over the back of Adam 4600, and I'm about to cough, so apologise. I'm going to go on mute for a second.
Did you see Adam's rear end slide out the back of that turn 5 and nearly took GP? He had to go to the left.
I did. I mean, this is a track where it's difficult enough to drive round looking forwards, but when you're having to look in your rear view mirror as well, it is even harder. And Adam 4600 is on the prime tyre, so for Front Row Racing GP, he needs to kind of time this right. Stay close now, blitz him down the start finish. Your teammate may even be able to follow you along as well. So, 2 Ferraris, V1 Red Bull, what's going to happen? DRS will be available as Casely comes sliding out of the final corner. Here we go then, up the inside. If you get on the brakes at the right point, that'll be move done. Casely may be able to sneak through as well. He's going to try, but the Red Bull's quick on the exit by the looks of things. He is. He's managed to stay ahead. Oh, GP chucking up the inside into 2. Got to be careful doing that one, but it is possible. Now through 3, and this is where Casely's going to catch up, but he's got to be careful because the last thing he'll want to do is take out his teammate. Oh, it's the nearly 3 wide into turn 4. Very, very tight. Ray, keep an eye on the leaders. I reckon some of them may be pitting fairly soon again. Hybrid Nuke potentially in the next lap, but from a Racing GP, he's getting a little bit perhaps frustrated here at the moment as he needs to get past this Red Bull. Now we saw
a battle with Charlie and Dave.
Oh, GP's going through it for it. Sorry, trying to go for it. I can't remember exactly what corner number it is, but manages to make the move. A very nice one there as well. Okay, it's Dave the Harp and Charlie. Was it you said? Yes. So Charlie 3rd place, Dave the Harp in 4th. Dave having a look up the inside into 2. Charlie having absolutely none of it.
And Hybrid Nukes, he's cut it down to 5 seconds, 5.6 seconds.
If Hybrid Nuke's on 5.6 seconds, that means he's losing time. Last I looked, he was 4 seconds behind. It was Charlie who was about 7 seconds behind. But
alright, okay.
Yeah, so Charlie in 3rd place has got Dave the Harp all over the back of him now, so we could have a change of position here. I wouldn't be surprised if Hybrid Nuke does chuck it into the pits. I mean, the option tyres, as they were saying yesterday, can do 15 laps, but they'll actually be awful for 5, 6 or 7 of them. The prime tyres could probably do 20 laps, but they'll be awful for about 5 of them. And he is. Hybrid Nuke is into the pits, and so is Charlie. Charlie and Hybrid Nuke both did pit earlier, if that makes sense. In the first round of stops, they both pitted early. Okay, from a Racing GP now in 8th. Adam 4600's now got Casely all over the back of him, and they are on the same tyre, the prime tyre. So Casely, his first race on a wheel. Oh, and he's just clipped the back of the Red Bull. But again, respect shown, gives him a nudge, sends him sideways, says, you know what, I could drive past you, but I won't. Get on with it, I'll overtake you properly. And hopefully, it DRS down the start-finish line.
Paul's in the pits, he's on to the tyres.
Now, Paul's going to come out
out in front of
he is.
GP. Is he going to hold it round this corner? GP's going for the switchback.
So we've got 2 battles going on then. Well, from a Racing GP on options, I think Paul's on the primes, but Paul's tyres will be brand new and Casely has got ahead. So do you reckon Paul's going to be able to hold that position there now, Ray?
Nah, GP on the options. Well, how long has he been on the options for? It's he's just.
But GP's now ran wide. That's going to perhaps need an ETL lift, but I'm not sure exactly what happened for Paul there. Perhaps he ran wide. Well, interesting.
Yeah, seen GP's ETL lift and Paul went in the back of him. Didn't think he was going to do it there. Okay,
right. Hybrid Nuke, he has pitted. He's come out in 4th place, and I tell you what, he's come out in traffic again. He's right behind Rickster.
He's coming out the pits there now.
Oh,
so's Dave the Harp.
Okay, Hybrid Nuke, he's made the pass on Rickster, so Hindle's already round turn 1. And I tell you what, Dave the Harp's going to come out right into a bit of a battle here, but Charlie has stayed ahead of him.
Get Richard Davey in the mix here.
Yep,
Rickster and Hybrid quite close.
Well, Hybrid has just got ahead of him down into turn 1. Hybrid Nuke with options that are only about a lap old. Hindle, what tyres is he on? He's on options, and he is still leading this race. Hybrid Nuke, it says he's 21 seconds behind. Is not. That'll change through the next sector. But I think Rickster and Richie Davey could be pitting fairly soon, which will release Charlie back into third place unless they are going to adjust their strategies. So Hybrid Nuke, yes, 5.2 seconds behind now. And Charlie, as I mentioned, has stayed ahead of Dave the Harp.
The first two have done 2 stops. Third and fourth have done 1 stop, and then you've got 5th and 6th, 7th, 8th on 2 stops.
Okay, Richie Davey, he's coming in now for his second stop of the race. So that frees up Charlie into 4th. He's got Dave the Harp very, very close behind him though. Don't think he's quite in DRS range. Charlie's got it because he was close enough to Richie Davey to be able to benefit down into turn 1. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see Rickster pitting again very, very soon, seeing as Richie Davey has just pitted and is probably going to bolt on a set of the option tyres. Slay in... Go on.
There's only 2 penalties on race directors.
That is fairly good then. So Slay has pitted. I think his teammate must have done as well, because From a Racing GP has just gone down the start finish line into turn 1. And remember, From a Racing GP ran prime tyres at the very start of this race, so he's freed up to use options all the way to the end. But he's now got Adam 4600 ahead of him again. Richie Davey is in 7th place with Farfper in 6th place. What tyres is Richie on? Richie's on the option tyres. Potentially could be faster than Farfper. Farfper is running in a Force India, but that will change. Well, it won't change, but he's actually scoring points for Mana Marussia. So, up at the front, what have we got? Rickster into the pits. Thought he might come for a stop fairly soon. He's got to be going for possibly this one and one more. Depends on what tyres he goes for. But Charlie and Dave the Harp still battling it out. And you know what? I'm fairly sure that myself and quite a lot of the viewers will be rooting for Charlie to continue on in the position he is in at the moment. And that's all I'm going to say on that one, because I don't want commentators curse him. 5.7 seconds off the lead. Can't quite close that gap in. Oh, Rickster! Oh, Rickster, Richie and Farfper. Richie Davey going for a DRS overtake on Paul down the straight as Rickster come out of the pits. That was very, very close, and also very, very close to us missing it. But what we've got now, Rickster. Oh, breathe in, hold your breath, get ready, because it could end up in a mess. I mean, you've got Richie on the option tyres, Paul on the primes, Rickster on the option tyres, and if you are on those options, you want to get past as you can. Oh, Paul has gone wide, and now he's caught the back of Rickster, and now he has spun himself. Oh dear, not good for Paul. If I was Paul, I'd probably head back to the pit lane, put a new set of tyres on. I heard you breathing in, Ray. What have you spotted? What have you seen?
It was just when Paul came back to track and Adam was coming round the corner. It was close.
Okay, and it's something that the drivers do have to consider, that they do have to return back to the track safely. They call, we've got an eagle flying across the screen, the Hungarian eagle. I spotted that in the World Championship yesterday, and he's here at the racetrack again. Dave the Harp, he looks like he's closing in on the back of Charlie. These guys 18 seconds off the lead, but they won't mind that. They know that Hybrid and Hindle are fairly damn quick. It's a case of a fight for third in many aspects.
Oh, that was good. Paul out on the outside of the last turn with Adam side by side, close as you could get.
But clean?
Yeah, clean. As
good.
Close as you could get, but clean.
That's exactly what we like to see, and exactly what we like to hear. And we see a Ferrari in the background. I'm guessing that's going to be from a Racing GP, who's going to be trying to close up the gap now.
Yeah, and I've had a few comments about your questions. We've got Will Butler, bring back V10s and V12 engines.
Agree with you on that one.
Hammer Time 44, I would like to change your own liveries.
Also, he means on the game. You know what? I'd like that as well, but I do know that the reason that they don't do it is that this is an FIA and sort of team regulated game, and the teams don't want other liveries on their cars effectively, although on the PCs you can modify them. But yeah,
and no curbs next to all the tracks.
No curbs next to all the tracks. Put barriers there instead.
Monaco every track.
Yeah.
Monaco, let's go.
I tell you what, if they did that, you know, you'd probably see less cars in the barriers than you see cars off track at the moment, in real life or in video gaming. Although in video gaming you would probably see a hell of a lot more wall riding. But there you go. Okay, 6th and 5th place may evolve or erupt into a little bit of a battle fairly soon. But Dave the Harp, go on.
Yeah.
Dave the Harp and Charlie.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, Dave's all over the back of him. But I mean, these guys are running the primes. They may stop for another set of options towards the end of the race. But I mean, these two, they've been sort of quietly going about their own business. And I mean, Charlie said, can we skip to Spa? Well, you know what, at the moment I bet he wouldn't like it if I now said, yeah, come on, let's skip to Spa. But we'll see. I mean, I tell you what, for the viewers, when it comes to curbs, go and have a look at, I'm trying to think what year it would be. It was when Senna and Prost were both in the McLarens at Suzuka. Might even be the year that they crashed, or the year before that they crashed. No, it wouldn't have been the year before. It must have been the year that they crashed together. You go and have a look at how big the apex curb is at the R130. I tell you what, Dave the Ark trying to go around the outside, turn 2 on Charlie, but Charlie again having absolutely none of it. He knows what this position means to him at the moment. But yeah, go and have a look at the size of the apex curb of the R130. That's the type of curbs that I think the racetracks should have. The only reason the curbs at racetracks are flat nowadays is for health and safety. At the end of the day, I think at some point when it comes to racing, you have to go, you know what, sod health and safety. These guys, they want to go fast. We want to watch them go fast. They know what the risk is. They know exactly what the risk is when they put themselves in the car. They know just how risky it can be. I mean, Christ's sake, they're wearing fireproof overalls, a helmet that's supposed to save their life, and a 6-point harness. If that doesn't say to you, look mate, this could get a bit rough, I don't know what else will, other than having a priest stand next to your car giving you your last rites on the grid. I mean, come on, it's like saying to a fighter pilot, right, okay, yeah, we're going to give you this jet plane that does like 400 or 500 mile an hour, we're going to put some missiles on it, but the button that says fire, we're not going to have that working because it's against health and safety. Come on. Anyway, right, Charlie still holding his own in 3rd place at the moment. We'll see what the gap is between Hybrid Nuke and Hindle. Hindle is pulling away. Richie Davey, he's in 5th place. He's got ahead of Rickster recently. Apologies, no he hasn't. Rickster was already behind him. I was going to say apologies for missing that overtake, but we haven't missed it. From our Racing GP, down the start finish straight, getting ahead of Farfba on 2 different tyres, 2 different exits out of the corner, and the Ferrari just managing to get ahead, covering off the inside line into turn 2. Could run wide, but has the position in the bag now. Casely not too far behind in 9th. Adam 4600. No, Charlie! Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
Dave, go, Dave the Harp, go if you can hear us. Just keep going, he's disqualified.
Dave the Harp's got no front wing. Dave the Harp's got no front wing. I'm wondering if there was a collision between the two of them that has led to that disqualification, or whether it happened afterwards. But Charlie has been disqualified by the clerk of the course. Dave the Harp's on his way into the pits with a damaged front wing. Richie Davey is now coming around the final corner in 3rd place with his nemesis Rickster now in 4th place. Oh dear, oh dear. Disaster there for Charlie then, and disaster for Dave the Harp, as this is going to be one slightly long pit stop. And we've got cars coming down the start-finish line, so Dave the Harp could come out in this. Yeah, GP's ahead, Farfba's ahead. K-Slate may also get ahead. He has, because Dave is only just now leaving the pits. Absolute disaster from 4th down to 8th.
Richie and Rickster are quite close together.
Excuse me.
Watch your braking points here at the chicane. Mickey Mouse chicane, is it?
Well, I call it a Mickey Mouse chicane.
Oh, a wee love tap there. Come on, get a move on. Let me past or go faster.
Oh, Rickster seems to have quite a bit more speed at the apex of the corners and in the braking zones. That's causing him to lock up, though. That'll be putting temperature through the tyres that really won't want to be overheated. Now, Rickster, if he keeps it sensible through this final corner, is close enough for a DRS move down into turn 1. He's definitely close enough. Richie Davey going for his usual defensive line. But DRS is available. You're going to have to go all the way around the outside, Rickster. He ain't going to make it easy for you. But you may be able to go for a bit of a switchback. He's trying, but I don't think he's quite got the room. No, the side-by-side, but now Richie's got the inside line into turn 2. Switchback available again for Rickster. But again, not quite got the room. He's going to have to hold position. And now ran a little bit wide. Going to have to be careful up to turn 4. We've got about 9 laps left of this race. And Richie holds position.
Yeah, I would like to see grapple traps out at the leaders in.
Leaders in, is he? So Hindle, yep, he's into the pits. I reckon that'll be for a set of the option soft tyre. I would expect nothing less, really. Yep, there we go. The option tyre. Hybrid Nuke. Hybrid Nuke must have... Hybrid Nuke, I think, has already pitted, you know, because he's only just coming around the final... Well, he's only just coming around the final corner now from Racing NW into the pit. So Hybrid Nuke had already pitted then, gone for an attempted undercut, but not one that is really going to benefit him too much now.
Richard David going to get a slipstream on Rickster as he can get it. Rickster never went defensive and just let Richard David take the inside line.
Yeah,
he's got to hang it out the outside.
He kind of left the door wide open for him, and if you leave the door open for Richie, he will go into it, but Rickster is trying to sneak through. Now we can perhaps go for a switchback. No, they both run a little bit wide through the corner. I mean, turns 2 and 3 here are very, very interesting corners. There's a few different lines you can use through them. Some are good for defending, some are really good for attacking. If you get it right, you get it really right. If you get it wrong, you get it really, really wrong. But that puts Richie Davey up into 3rd place. I think...
I don't think he's going to hold it.
Well, I don't think Rickster's going to want to allow him to keep it, let's put it that way.
And
he's going for it up into turn 12. Rickster up the inside manages to get through, but he's only going to go and give Richie Davey DRS now as Hybrid Nuke posts a new fastest lap of the race. Richie's in the pits. He's in the pits.
He don't know what to do there.
Quite possibly. Perhaps he did. Oh, I bet he had to sort out his tyre choice. That wouldn't surprise me. We've seen that before. K-Slay, he's now in 5th with Farfba right behind him. They've both gone for the pit lane with 7-8 laps to go. I'm guessing from a Racing GP must have recently pitted. I would say yes, because he was in 5th place, so he could jump both of them. Dave the Harp, yeah, he's now on the prime tyres. They'll have put those on when he had to replace the front wing. Richie Davey coming out the pits. He'll be on a brand new set of which tyres? You would guess options, and they are options. So from a Racing GP is back up to 6th place then, ahead of K-Slay and Farfba, who come out the pits neck and neck, or near enough neck and neck. So I don't think this is...
on primes, and Richie Davey in 5th place is on options.
Yeah, Richie should be able to catch him fairly quick. I tell you what though, for Rickster, what'll be going through his mind now is, okay, do I need to make another pit stop? Is it too late to make a pit stop? If I pit now, am I going to lose out? What do I do? Do I just keep going? He pits. Yeah, he pits, but he's going to lose that position potentially to Dave the Harp and Richie Davey. So Rickster pitting there could put Dave the Harp back up onto the podium, but Richie Davey's not going to want to let him keep it. I mean, in this lap, he's closed up, and I reckon he may even be ahead by the time they get down to turn 1. No, he's not going to be close enough to attack, I don't think, but Dave the Harp is going defensive, but the car coming out of the pit lane, Dave spots him.
Rickster.
Oh, Richie going up the inside. Oh, that was close. That was close to chopping off the nose of that McLaren. But Richie Davey now on the outside of Dave the Harp. Rickster on much fresher tyres than both of these guys now. But this is a very tricky situation to be in. Dave on the prime tyres. Options ahead, options behind. Oh, getting very, very close. Through turn 4 then. But this is a situation that for Rickster it couldn't really have gone any worse. Okay, he may have thought, well, I'll lose out to Richie Davey. He wouldn't have been expecting to be behind Dave the Harp as well, who's not going to make it easy for him and is on the slower of the 2 tyres. Now, we've seen Rickster attempt a few overtakes down into turn 12, and I reckon he may go for another one here. All depends on his run, his exit.
He's there.
He's just about up alongside, and with the fresher tyres able to brake that little bit later, manages to get that move done. Now needs to get on with it and go and catch up to that Sauber ahead of him. And from a Racing GP, he's not that far behind these guys. With those option tyres on, he may be able to catch up to Dave the Harp, and he's pulling along Caseley and Farfber with him. Hindle up at the front though, he's looking fairly comfortable. He'll be going to the end on this current set of tyres. I mean, he said before the race, Ray, that he wanted to dominate this one, and it's kind of looking that it's gone that way. Although, with Hybrid Nuke having the collision in the early stages, Hybrid Nuke may feel that it's been a little bit too easy for Hindle here. It could have been very different had he not had the traffic and the collision.
Yeah, Will Butler, back on your question, says Barrichello's crash at Imola, specifically why DP? I can't remember.
Barrichello's crash at Imola was he caught too much of a curb and ended up airborne. So yeah, I can kind of see why they have flattened the curbs, but at the same time, they need some way of stopping the drivers from taking advantage. You look at the likes of Sebastian Vettel, he's a 4-time world champion, and everyone sees him cutting the top of Eau Rouge. Now, you've got young kids to adults watching one of the best in the world cutting corners and not getting told off for it or nothing happening for it, so they're all going to think it's absolutely fine to do it, when really it isn't. Now, the other way to do it, and it's one that I like, is gravel traps. I mean, you mentioned it, Ray.
Yeah.
You put a gravel trap there, and yeah, they're not going to go off. I mean, even at Spa, again, you go up the Camel Straight, you got the right-left chicane, a kink right, and you down the hill into a long right-hander. That long right-hander used to have a gravel trap on the outside of it, and if you touched it, that was it. You were off the track, and it was not easy to get going again. You'd lose a lot of time. They got rid of it. They got rid of it and put tarmac down. Now, probably for motorbikes, but really a gravel trap was better. But then they say, well, the difficulty with a gravel trap is that a car goes in it the wrong way, it could roll. Okay, yes, that is a possibility. Well, don't do something that ends up with a gravel trap. I mean, we've seen it that Perez had a crash, hit a barrier, and he rolled the car. Because of the way the tyres broke off around him, it rolled the car. So it doesn't matter what you do, there's always going to be that possibility of a car rolling over. But yeah, I mean, F1 drivers, I wouldn't say they risk their lives like they used to in the olden days, because they really, really don't. But F1 drivers, they know the risk. They know what could possibly happen. And they choose to. Now, some people say it's because they get paid lots and lots of money to do it. Some of them pay lots and lots of money to do it. Others just absolutely love it. But there we go. Difference of opinion, I suppose. Hindle, about to start lap 33 of 35. So getting into the closing stages of this event. Hybrid Nuke, he managed to pull the gap down a little bit, but I think his tyres will be at that phase now where they are beginning to go off. Richie Davey, he's in third place. Looks like he's pulling away from Rickster, who is in fourth, but we don't know for certain yet who's got what amount of penalties. We'll wait until after the podiums to spot those. Now, Dave the Harp, he's 50. Go on.
I think Rickster's catching him slowly. I don't think he's losing time, he's catching him slower.
Excuse me. Well, we'll keep an eye on them. Richie Davies going defensive, does not want to give Rickster any kind of slipstream at all. But Rickster will know, okay, yeah, you can go over there. You're just making your tyres dirty, which will make turn one a little more difficult for you, and I'll be able to catch up a little bit, which it does look like he's been able to do. So this battle may not be over just yet. I just want, if you could, Ray, to have a look at what the gap is between Dave the Harp and the cars behind, because he's running the prime tyres. The cars behind are running the option tyres.
4 seconds.
Okay, so I've just spotted Dave the Harp in the background here. Well, 4 seconds with a couple of laps to go. The gap between those could come down, so may have to keep an eye on that one.
But Richie and Davey, that's good, really close. He was. Rickster was a second, but he's right up his gearbox.
He's not a second behind anymore. He's right behind him. Now, we've seen Rickster go for the move into turn 12. Richie Davey.
He's got it covered.
Yeah, straight away. He's seen Rickster try it on a few occasions, and he's not having any of it. But if Rickster holds it together, he'll get DRS. It'll be a question of, you know, Richie Davies going to go defensive, so Rickster, are you going to follow him for the slipstream, or are you just going to hold your position? Because there he goes, he's going for the slipstream, and I don't blame him. He needs that extra bit of speed boost. He's going to have to go all the way around the outside, though, which isn't going to be easy unless he goes for the switchback, which I don't think he's going to be able to do. No, he's not. It's all the way around the outside. Second burst of DRS now. Line. Yeah, he has. He's got the inside line for turn 2. Side by side they go then, but now Richie's going to have the inside line for turn 3. No, he's not, because Rickster is ahead. So, move done, but I doubt very much that this battle is over. I mean, something we don't know is what level of fuel these guys have got. I mean, this track, it's not overly thirsty on fuel. Oh, Richie Davey pushing hard and pushing wide, but yeah, it's not overly thirsty on fuel. You can run rich just about every lap for quite a bit of the lap and run standard for the rest of it and still keep your fuel about balanced. But Rickster, now he's got ahead, he's opened up a little bit of a gap. Let's see what that gap is between Dave the Harp and Front Row Racing GP. Oh, it's come down a lot. Let's see, Dave the Harp's 56 seconds behind the leader. Front Row Racing GP 58.3. So, yeah, a couple of seconds in it. So the last lap could get a little bit tense for Dave the Harp. Hindle, though, he's through Sector 2 on the final lap of the race for him. After the first stint, it's been looking fairly comfortable. Said he wanted to dominate, and so far it looks like he's done exactly that. So only...
Yeah, and we have a viewer saying the revised regulation for 2016 states drivers must make every reasonable effort to stay within the track limits and must have a
justifiable reason for going off track. Yeah, that is true. Okay, hang on. Sorry, Ray, hang on. Hindle is about to cross the line to take victory here in Hungary. A fantastic result for him. Not his first win of the season, but one that will be seen as very, very important. Hybrid Nuke crossing the line in second place. Richter still in third. You've got about 15 seconds, Ray, to finish off what you were saying there before he gets to the finish line.
It's whether they imply the rule as much as they do.
Yeah, that's the thing with the real life F1 racing. If they apply the rule, drivers will stop doing it, and they should apply the rule. Excuse me. I mean, one of the things in F1, teams will always come up with, well, look at all these millions of megabytes of data that show that we lifted off over here a mile away that should be taken into account. But anyway, Richter, third place on the day for him. Richie Davey takes fourth. Dave the Harpy's still in fifth, but those Ferraris are very, very close. They may even change position.
Yeah, they have.
GP, is he out of fuel? Or has he just let his teammate... I wouldn't have thought he'd let his teammate through there. But they were side by side. Farfborough across the line for 8th place. And from a racing NW coming around the final corner in 11th. We'll have a look at the on-the-day result. Bear in mind, though, folks, it is only a provisional until the stewards have done their thing. So we do have Hindle on pole position on the top step of the podium. Hybrid Nuke in second, and by the looks of it, Richter in third. A very worthy podium, you'd have to say there. Another fantastic win and maximum points for the Victorious Secret Williams Racing. And also a driver on the podium, Richter, who will feel that in previous events he should have been up there more often, but today he's really had to fight for it. As we can see, only 3 penalties given out, although we did see a driver disqualified. But see how close it was, sort of 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. Very, very close. Richie Davey had a couple of penalties. That's what's put him closer to the clutches of Dave the Harp. Barely a 10th in it between 4th and 5th place. Well, what an event for the drivers there. They'll be glad that there was no rain, and in a few moments' time we will get the podium sitters in for a quick chat. So I will say to the viewers, if you have any questions that are not rude or offensive that you would like us to ask the drivers, feel free to post them now, and if we get time to get round to it, we shall put them to the drivers. But I'm going to take a quick sip of my drink and some cough syrup. As Ray, if you could invite the drivers into the podium interviews. So we've got a few moments then until the drivers join us on the podium. But a fantastic race there. I mean, to be honest, I think there was probably less carnage in that than I was perhaps expecting there to be. Some very interesting strategies. Huge disappointment for the Charles McLaren Honda team, but also huge jubilation for them as well. Okay, Richter, Hybrid Nuke have joined us in the podium interview room. If you two and Hindle could please make sure that you have got your chat party settings, microphone set to always allow, and please do physically check it, because if it's not on, no one will hear what you have to say. And then I'll bring the squirrel back if I could find him from Monza. Okay, Hindle, over to you. First place, pole position, I believe it was. Pole position and the win. Some would think perhaps a little bit too easy, but to be honest, getting that pole position lap time in didn't really look that easy to do.
The whole of this session was not easy, far from easy, because there was absolutely nothing between me and Hybrid on pace. I mean, in quality, I set in previous races, I've put pressure on myself because I've waited until everyone else has gone out, and then I've got to try and beat that lap time. So I changed it round a bit this time. Went out first, try and get a good banker lap in, and I think it was a 20.8 in my banker lap. So I was quite happy with that. And then I think the overall qualifying lap time was at 20.7. But that was far from easy.
Yeah, I mean, your qualifying lap times were similar to mine yesterday, where when you went for it a little bit more, yes, you had a good sector 1 time, but your sector 2 time was not as fast as you wanted it to be. Neither was your sector 3, but it gave you a decent lap time. And on your banker, it was like, yeah, not a bad sector, yeah, not a bad sector, yeah, not a bad sector, good banker lap. The 2 runs after that, it was like good sector 1, not a bad sector 2, sector 3 was okay, but not quite as quick. And then on your last run, it was sort of like, okay, sector 1, not great, couple of attempts off what you'd just done a few moments ago. Sector 2 was better though. Sector 3, yeah, that was okay, that was an improvement. So it was kind of like, oh, if only I'd done that sector with that sector, all on the same lap, I'd have been banging a low 20.
Yeah.
So frustrating. Anyway, the race, I mean, the start was a bit of an odd one. We noticed that somehow Adam 4600 was in the lead and lagging about a little bit. So, yeah, that one was a little bit confusing for everyone. So I think we'll just gloss over that for the moment, because once that was dealt with, the race really kind of got going. Now, Hybrid Nuke pitted what I would say was very early. Were you expecting him to pit as early as he did? Did you know what his strategy was going to be?
I didn't know what his strategy was going to be, but from Monday, I knew I was going to do a free stop. That was always the plan. And I told him, I said, my tyre's going off, I'm going to pit next lap. And as soon as I said that, I kept my eye on the yellow icon at the bottom.
And he goes into the pits. Yeah. Well,
but yeah, it was a bit early, but I knew that because at the end of each stint, he lost so much time in the last 2 laps.
Yeah.
And that was due to the tyre wheel.
But also, I mean, I kind of see why he pitted early now, knowing that, because sometimes when you're the car behind, if your teammate says, I'm pitting the next lap, sometimes you go, okay, no problem, I'll go in now. It's just what you do in that situation, because if you are that car behind, you have to quickly go, okay, I either pit now or I've got to do 2 more laps. So you have to go with that, whichever choice works. It didn't work for him because he came out in a load of traffic, which when you pitted, you also came out to what almost looked like a 4-car battle into turn 1. So bit of a surprise for you, that one.
I thought I was looking behind me and I thought I was going to get out in front of him, and then GP was coming straight at me. I thought he was going to whip me. And I braked into turn 1. They all went past. I touched GP's rear tyre the tiniest bit before he went round, and then when they went round, I don't know what happened, if he got understeer from that touch or what, but Hybrid and him seemed to collect each other.
That they did. So at that point, are you thinking, oh dear, not good? And Hybrid's obviously swearing, cursing, and you're thinking, okay, that gives me a bit of a breather. The rest of the race, fairly comfortable. Did you free stop? No problems?
At first, I thought, when I looked at his car, he's going to lose his front wing, but he wasn't as angry as he has been, so I knew he lost his front wing. But from then on, I was alright. Until the last stop, he gained 4 seconds from the undercut. I was like, oh wow.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. If his first undercut had worked, it'd have been ahead of you by some distance, but he would have had the difficulty with the tyre stints. Anyway, well done to you, Hindle. We'll come back to you in a few moments' time. We'll move on to Hybrid Nuke. So, Hybrid, yeah, you took that gamble of, okay, I either wait 2 more laps or I pit now. You pitted now. Kind of regret it?
Nah, you got to make that decision on that split second, haven't you? So
yeah,
had to either go for it or wait, and I made a decision.
So when you came out the pits and it's like, oh god, okay, there's 5 cars around me, none of which have pitted, and they're all on different tyres. was it just a case of, come on, pit guys, pit, get out of my way?
Yeah, it very much was. I knew one or two would pit, and then I was hoping for DRS to get past. And then it just went wrong.
Yeah, it did look like it went a little bit wrong. So, before the race, you were looking confident. You seemed happy to be racing around Hungary. You said there was a few secrets to this track. Has Hindle gone and found out what a few of them are?
I don't know. I mean, I can complain about my race, but in the end of the day, you can't really complain when somebody drives, perfectly. So well done, Handel.
Yep, it was very well done. Well, we might come back to you in a few moments' time, depending on viewers' questions, so you can take a breather. And we'll move on to Rickster. Ricky, how are you doing, mate?
I didn't expect that.
No, I don't. I must admit, I didn't either. And in a way, I've kind of got to give out an apology to Charlie. I tried not to commentate as curse him. But I may have done, although it happened about 4 laps after. Okay, right, we'll get on to that a little bit, because obviously you'd have been talking to him. For you, yeah, you're happy, you've got third position, provisional third position, you're on the podium, you get to talk to us, woohoo! But, let's face it, Charlie, he was in third place. Charlie probably should have been sat here talking to us. Now, we didn't see exactly what happened. All we saw was Charlie's been disqualified. Dave the Arp's got no front wing. With all of the expletives removed, is there any chance that you could actually let us know what may have happened?
I know he got a couple. He might have got, I think, 1 or 2 time penalties for ETLs, and then I just heard him just shout, "I've been disqualified." So I don't know what it was, because within like 3 or 4 laps I saw Dave the Harp in front of me, so I don't know if it was a crash or if he had cut another corner, or I don't know, but he didn't really tell me.
No, I can imagine in that situation he didn't really feel like chatting too much. I mean, we did discuss it in qualifying at the start of the race, that around this track it tends to kind of be a little bit lenient on the penalties, but it goes, warning you naughty boy, for so many times, and then it goes, you know what, I'm sending you to Stephen Fry because you've really been a naughty boy. Game over. So, yeah, frustrating and very, very disappointing for Charlie. But, sorry Charlie, we're going to ignore you now. An interesting race for yourself.
I know he's listening as well.
Yeah, an interesting race for yourself there, Rickster. Where was it you qualified? Fourth, fifth?
Third.
Third, okay, qualified third. You actually retired quite early in the qualifying session with about 5-6 minutes to go. Was that a tyre saving strategy, that?
Yep. Yeah, it was. I had used one. I did like 3 or 4 laps on one set. Timing. I don't know why I couldn't get a fast timing, because I was doing really well in practice. But and then I did it on the second set, and I didn't want to use another set of options. So after that, I'm just going to retire now. Wherever I start there and see what I can do.
Yeah, well, I don't blame you. I mean, anyone that watches mine and Kev's footage from yesterday, you'll notice that we get into the qualifying session, go, oh look, it's not raining, right? I'm going to go for a comfort break, and we come back like 4 or 5 minutes later. Now, for me, that was because, like you, I was like, well, okay, possibly might want to use 3 sets of options in the race. So that means you can only do 2 runs in qualifying, because one of those sets of tyres, you should be starting the race on. So anyway, the start of the race, it all looked a bit hectic, all looked a bit busy, and you ended up quite far down the grid. What happened?
I got an absolute terrible start, because trying to start on this game without traction control is impossible for me for some reason. But I got a horrible start. I got jumped by like 3 people, and then all of a sudden I saw Adam just appear in front of everyone.
Yep.
And I had no idea what happened there. But and then like it was like 4 wide, and Casely had driven or hit Mercedes. I think it was Acorn who hit me, and I went spinning, and I ended up, I think, second to last. And so the start was awful for me. So swearing in a cockpit. Yeah,
I can imagine. So after that, you calmed down a bit. So what strategy did you go for, and was you always going to go with that strategy?
Yeah, I was always going to go for a free stop. I was always going to start on the options, do the primes, and then do 2 stints of options at the end. I thought I'd just stick with that, see where it gets me. I ended up making like 5 positions up on the first lap, or 4, just because people were just trying to settle down and go really slow. So after the first few laps, I did make up quite a few positions. But
well, we saw you do quite a few overtakes into turn 12 as well. Is that a favourite corner of yours to overtake on?
I didn't even know that was going to be a favourite corner for me to overtake on. It just happened. It just so happened that that's the corner I overtook everyone on. My straight line speed was awful because I don't know why I chose to do it, but I chose 11-11 wings, and I thought I'd give it a go. But it turns out it helped me a lot in the second sector.
Yes.
Because catching Richie at the end was.
Yeah,
right, so.
I mean that's the thing. Running a higher aero like that. I mean, I know I ran 11.9. It does give you so much extra speed through the middle sector and the final sector, and also when your tyres start to go off. I mean, one way I try and explain it is when your tyres go off. If you're running 1-1 aeros, you're basically running non aeros, or if you're behind a car, you're running non aeros. If you're running 11-11 aeros, when your tyres go off, or you're behind a car, you're running 9-9 aeros. So that's the kind of benefit it can give you.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it was just hurting me on the straights. It was awful.
It is a horrible and awful when you get the speed. But very well done for that 3rd place there. Ray, quickly over to you. Do we have any questions for the podium sitters from the viewers?
Just, Hendo, do you expect more of a challenge?
What, from this race?
I would guess
as
Spa.
far as I'm aware.
That was a challenge. I mean, if he didn't get caught up, we'd have been fighting the whole race. So, unfortunate for him, but I wasn't expecting any less of a challenge, because that was a challenge.
Do you think it'll be more of a challenge at Spa?
To be honest, that is... I seem to be alright at every track, but Belgium is... I can set good lap times, but in the race, I absolutely destroy my tyres. So it's kind of a bogey track for me, but I'm still expecting to be up there or thereabouts.
Okay, next question.
Anyone want a brew?
I'll have one.
2 sugars.
I'll have an Irish coffee, please. It is St. Patrick's Day after all.
No more questions. I think you've answered it. I was too busy looking at the questions and trying to listen in at the same time, but I think you've answered them.
We've covered most
well.
of them. Okay, right then. Well, Spa is next up. Now we've heard what Hybrid Hindle's had to say about that. Hybrid Nuke, you like Hungary? Unfortunately, you've just been beaten in Hungary. Do you like Spa? And are you going to try and switch it around?
Mate, I'm not going to say anything.
Can you give that in a sentence?
I didn't hear what you said then because Ray cut it. Go on, try again.
So I'm not going to say anything this race. For next race, I jinxed myself this race.
Yeah, you did. You also need to remember that we'd like the comments to try and be one sentence.
I can do the whole paragraph. It's up to you to pick things that you can say during the race.
You're very lucky that I didn't just go, sorry, we didn't get anything off him this week. He sent an absolute bloody essay. Oh, yeah, I like this track and blah, blah, blah. He's even talking about the last race of the season. Anyway, right, Rickster, on to you. On to you, Rickster. Do you reckon you can beat these guys at Spa?
I'll give it a go.
Good for you.
I know Charlie's going to be practicing a lot for Spa. Spa's his favourite track, so we'll probably be practicing together on that. So
I tell you what, it's disappointing that Charlie got disqualified from this event. Right, it is disappointing. But he's shown that he has got pace about him, and around a track where last year he probably I don't mean to offend anybody by this, but last year with this kind of strict setting, chances are he may have got disqualified in the first 5 laps. So to get to,
I think he knows that though.
quite possibly. So for him to go as far as he did, putting the pace that he did, if he can do similar at Spa without getting the disqualification, it could be on for a good result. Anyway, right.
Definitely.
Drivers, thank you very much for joining us for the podium interviews. You are now free to go and take your comfort breaks, get yourselves a drink, order your dinners, whatever it is that your post-race routines are. If you don't hand back our microphones, we will take them back off you. But thank you very much for joining us for the podium interviews. Excuse me. I tell you what, I hope my cough has, or my chest infection has improved over the next couple of days, because I could really do with having a break from that one. Doing commentary doesn't really help it either, to be honest, because it's constantly talking. Okay. Go on, what have you got for us, Ray? Well, that's what I was about to come to you for. Now that the drivers have left us on the podium, do we have any information from any of the drivers that did not make it onto the podium?
Yeah, Charlie says all I got was 2 penalties. I know might be only 2 penalties, but it could be warnings of what the penalties were for or what happened.
Yeah.
It was a tough one. And 69, don't know what happened, but few cars had lag and I lost a wing. He's glad it wasn't a chicken wing.
Yeah, although he's probably now missed the United Liverpool matches I have as well. Okay, next one.
Adam 4600 went too light on the wings. He should have got a bigger bucket of them.
Yeah.
2 stopping didn't work either.
No, 2 stopping didn't, but somehow getting about 200 metres in the lead at the start did. How he did that from about 8th or 9th place, I have no idea. Okay, we'll go any other comments.
Front row racing GP was looking good till something happened at turn 1. Don't know what that was. No comment. And he gave Casely the position at the line only to get it given back to him by the game.
Oh, so he's given Casely the on the road position, but it got given back to himself. That's an odd one. That's like going. You know what, mate? You've done your first race on the wheel. Well done. Go on. I'll let you go ahead of me. Well done. Ha 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 ha. It's sneaky. Sneaky. Go on then. What's Casely had to say?
Well, the wheel was fun, so he must have had a good time on it, and he did quite good racing for first time on the wheel. Is that? It
is. I mean, his wheel. I think his wheel arrived on Monday. And yeah, so he did a little bit of practice Monday night, and I mean a little bit of practice Tuesday night, and again a little bit of practice on Wednesday. So yeah, not a lot of practice. And I tell you what, coming to a circuit like Hungary, never really having used a wheel, is one of the tracks. It's a little bit like Konzo in the World Championship. His second race on the wheel, was Monaco. And he could have quite easily gone, oh, you know what, I don't fancy it, I'll go on the pad. He didn't. He went for the wheel, he's got that experience, and Casely's done the same. Okay, he's not finished as high up the order as he would have done if he was on a pad, but he said he's enjoyed it. It would have been enjoyable. He will have improved all the way through, and he's now got experience from doing that he can take on to places like Spa and the following races. Okay, any other comments, Ray?
No, that's all.
Okay, so we can pretty much bring this to our closing statements. Excuse me. Just a reminder to everyone that the on the day result is a provisional result, and once the race directors and the stewards have done their thing, a confirmed result will be posted on Facebook on Tuesday with the race review. And depending on how well I am, depends on how detailed the review will be. So yeah, for classified result, find us on Facebook. That's Front Row Racing on Facebook, and they will be up on Tuesdays for the World Championship and the World Series. We also do have highlights videos for both leagues. although for the World Championship we're going to be missing a few for the next few weeks while James Hulkenberg's on holiday, and a Razor 21, Tony Oininen, is quickly getting his done for the World Series. So thank you very much to those two for actually taking the time to do those highlights videos. It is not an easy process. Next up on the Front Row Racing YouTube channel will be tomorrow evening at 7:30 p.m. for the Front Row Racing FRRI Days Cup, which will be round 11 at Spa. And the FRRI Days Cup is our feeder series into our F1 leagues. Basically, if you've been watching this or any of our other shows and you think, you know what, I'd like to take part in this league, contact the Front Row Racing Facebook page and we'll get you involved in the FRRI Days Cup. Basically, there's no teams, there's no teammates, first come, first serve for the spaces. You come in, you race clean, you race fair, you get to go on the reserve driver list for the World Championship, no assists, or the World Series, assists allowed, and then the drivers have the opportunity to select you from how you perform. That's the way into the leagues at the moment. So yeah, so 7:30 p.m. tomorrow on the YouTube channel for that. Okay, do we have any final thoughts, Ray?
From me, time to sign out. Go to sleep.
Time to sign out. Go to sleep for you, maybe. Time to sign out and put some ice cubes on my throat. I reckon doing commentary has not helped us at all. And also, you know what? I think I'm going to treat myself to a nice dinner tonight because Windows 10 really annoyed me last night. I'm going to rant now. I'm going to rant. If you've got a computer, I'm a bit classier than that. Donna Cobb. Yeah, if you've got Windows 10 on a computer and it keeps telling you upgrade to Windows 10, it's free, you know what, I'd be really tempted not to. I upgraded it, don't really like it, it's changed loads of things on the computer, but 2 days after updating it, all of a sudden it goes, you know what, I'm not going to let you use the internet today. And it took us 2 hours to work out why and to solve it. But anyway, there you go. Rant over about that one. Technology is meant to make life easier, not more complicated. Right, okay, time to actually finish and we'll sign out now. So Ray, thank you very much for joining us on commentary again this evening.
No, thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Always is. So I've been Front Row Racing DP, he's been Front Row Racing RI, we've been the Front Row Racing World Series. Thank you very much for watching and we'll see you all again soon.